What do the brand new poll numbers out of Iowa and Caitlyn Jenner's tatas have in common? They're both fake. By the way, I'm not hating on Caitlyn Jenner. She just voted for Donald Trump. So Caitlyn, we appreciate your support and we salute you. But these poll numbers out of Des Moines, this is the most bogus poll I've ever seen. Remember, this close to Election Day, you cannot believe this polling because this is not a legitimate poll. This is propaganda. This is a psyop. It's a psychological operation designed to throw a ratchet in the system and get everybody off their game 48 hours before Election Day. Don't buy it. Don't believe it. I'm going to walk through every single reason why this poll is good for one thing and one thing only, and that is lining the birdcage or wrapping up fish. I don't know. Do people even have newspapers anymore? By the way, what are you lining your bird cages with and wrapping your fish up with in this internet age? Hey, you know what? It doesn't matter. Let's take a look at this poll, shall we? According to the Des Moines Sunday Register, Harris edges Donald Trump 47% to 44% among likely Iowa voters. Now, right off the bat, there's a couple of things that make me realize this poll ain't real. The first thing is CNN's reaction to it. Look at CNN's Election Center. Very surprising. Very surprising. Des Moines Register poll shows Harris competing with Trump in Iowa. Now, if this were true, if this were accurate information, if this were the kind of information that everybody who polled had, if this were legit, if Kamala Harris actually had this kind of a lead in Iowa, CNN wouldn't write such a calm headline. They wouldn't be like, very surprising. Harris is competing with Trump. According to the Iowa Register, she's dominating Donald Trump with just a couple of hours left before we wake up and everybody's heading to the polls for the final day of voting. The other reason that you have to be skeptical about this is because look at the questions that they asked the people who answered this Des Moines Sunday Register poll. For example, they asked the majority of Kamala Harris voters in Iowa what they say they've been thinking about most for the future of democracy when making their choice for president. And 51% said the future of democracy. Okay. This leads me to believe that this Iowa poll was heavily favored with Democrats, that it was weighed down with Democrats. It wasn't a 50-50 split. Hell, it wasn't even probably a 60-40 split because nobody really is saying the biggest problem, the biggest concern, the biggest thought they have when going to the polls is the future of democracy. Unless, of course, you are a far left in the bag Kamala Harris acolyte who wants nothing to do with Donald Trump and will vote for anybody that the Democrats put up against him. So the answers to these questions, for example, abortion, number 2, making sure my preferred party's in the White House, of inflation and the economy at 7%, immigration at 2%. These are not just Democrats that they're polling. These are the worst Democrats in the history of the world. Something else that's surprising is, lo and behold, this Emerson College poll, which came out just 4 hours after the Iowa poll. And in the Emerson poll, you can see that Trump is way ahead in Iowa, as he has been for a very long time, with 53% of the vote. Harris only has 43%. That's a 10% difference. Donald Trump is dominating Kamala Harris in Iowa, according to the real polls, the Emerson polls. According to the Des Moines Sunday Register poll, Kamala Harris all of a sudden jumped up 15 points with just 2 days left in the election cycle. Nobody actually believes that, do they? It's really interesting. If you look historically, here's how Iowa has voted in recent presidential elections. You'll see that Donald Trump got 53% of the vote in the recent Iowa election in 2020, and that is right in line with where he is right now, 53%. So the people that voted for Donald Trump in Iowa in 2020 still want to vote for him in 2024. In 2016, Donald Trump dominated Iowa with 51% of the vote. Look at this. Mitt Romney lost Iowa. John McCain lost Iowa. They lost to Barack Obama. In fact, the last Republican to win Iowa was George W. Bush. He only won it once. He only won it by 0.7 percentage points. And Donald Trump has had a bigger impact and a bigger following and a bigger turnout in Iowa than any Republican in decades. And now, all of a sudden, Iowa has flipped blue for Kamala Harris? I don't buy that. Donald Trump doesn't buy it either, and neither should you. Donald Trump wrote on his Truth Social platform, no president has done more for farmers and the great state of Iowa than Donald J. Trump. In fact, it's not even close. All polls, except for one heavily skewered toward the Democrats by a Trump hater who called it totally wrong the last time, have me up by a lot. I love the farmers, and they love me. The Just Out Emerson poll has me up 10 points in Iowa. Thank you. So there's a lot to this. If you look at this, this is another statement. This is the confidential memorandum that the Trump team put out. Here we go. Trump campaign senior leadership. Here's what they wrote. Facts about voter registration and early voting. All right, here we go. Des Moines Register is a clear outlier poll. Emerson College released today far more closely reflects the blah, 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 blah. To their credit, the Emerson College poll has an R+4 party split. In the outlier Des Moines Register poll, they claim Harris leads with seniors by 19 points. In 2020, President Trump carried seniors 54-45 over Biden. The Emerson College poll released today concurs with the CNN exits from 2020. The Des Moines Register poll claims that Harris leads by 20 points among women. That is also not true. The other thing to keep in mind with this fake, phony, bogus hoax poll out of Iowa is that the company that released it, Selzer, that worked with the Des Moines Register, they don't release what's called their crosstabs, the information about who they're polling. They don't let you know the party affiliation of the people polled. And that comes in very handy because if you call 1,000 Democrats and 5 Republicans and ask them who they're voting for, guess what? Kamala Harris, she's going to win that poll probably every single day of the week. But if you call 1,000 Democrats and 1,000 Republicans and you ask them the same question, you might get a poll that is closer to the truth. They're not worried about the truth. They're trying to change the game. They're trying to change the thoughts of the voters, and they're trying to throw the Donald Trump campaign off track. This happens in every single election. It happens every single year, no matter who's running, and it always fails. Take a look at the swing states. Here's what's going on currently in swing states, and this is according to the Atlas Intel national poll. And Atlas Intel historically has been one of the most accurate polls. And as we've shown you moments ago, history is very important when it comes to polling. You need to look at whose system works well over time. You look at the polling in 2020, you look at the election result in 2020, and you compare. Here with the Atlas Intel poll, you'll see that Donald Trump is winning pretty much every single swing state. Donald Trump is winning in North Carolina by plus 3.4. Donald Trump is winning in Georgia by plus 2.5. Donald Trump is winning in Arizona by plus 6.5. Nevada plus 5. Wisconsin plus 1. Michigan plus 1.5. Pennsylvania plus 1.8. Trust me, if Donald Trump is winning in all of these swing states, these battlegrounds, there's no way he's losing in Iowa. What Kamala Harris wants Donald Trump to do is skew last minute, maybe ditch one of his Michigan rallies or one of his Pennsylvania rallies and make a beeline to Iowa where he thinks he's in trouble. She wants Donald Trump to cut some of his campaign spending in these battlegrounds and funnel it off to Iowa to protect a lead that she's trying to convince him he no longer has. They're trying to get voters, far right-wing voters, to stay home in Iowa because they want you to believe that Kamala Harris has it all wrapped up. None of this stuff is going to work. In fact, it's Kamala Harris who has given up on 2 of these states. Kamala Harris has pulled millions and millions of dollars. She cut off her ad spend in North Carolina. You won't see any more Kamala Harris ads in North Carolina because the money dried up. She pulled it and put it in Pennsylvania. In Nevada, Kamala Harris has ceded Nevada to Donald Trump. This is a state that Democrats have been competitive in and have won in the last couple of election cycles. But now she realizes Donald Trump's lead is too great. There's no reason to spend any more money in Nevada. She's pulled her funds out of that. Don't believe this Iowa poll. Look at this. Iowa has never been more red. Look at this. This is the county by county breakdown of Iowa's Republican registrations, okay? In 2024 to 2020 to 2024. Former red counties like Cerro Gordo, which means fat Cerro, is Democrat 2.6 in 2020, and now they're Republican 9.1. They flipped the county. Here in Clinton County, ironically, in Clinton County, Iowa, they flipped it from a Democrat plus 2.4 to a Republican plus 9. It happened here in Des Moines County. It happened here in Jefferson County, in Lee County, in Marshall County. These used to be blue counties, and now they're red. Poweshiek. I don't know if that's pronounced. I don't know how to pronounce that one. Wapello. Winneshiek. All these counties. In fact, Iowa has never been more red. Iowa has never been more Republican. And I guarantee you that the people in Iowa are not concerned about the future of democracy. They're concerned, just like everybody else, about the border, about the illegal alien invasion, about the crime in their streets, about the drugs and the fentanyl. They're very worried about the price of gasoline, and they're worried about the price of groceries, and they're worried about inflation, and they're worried about the economy, and they're worried about World War III, and they're worried that we are going to have 4 more years of this. And the people in Iowa are not going to vote for Kamala Harris. And we know that because historically, they've never been more conservative. They've never been more eager to vote for President Donald Trump. Don't believe the polls. They're there to throw you off your game. They're there to make you think negative thoughts. They're there to try and keep Donald Trump from campaigning in the way he's been doing, which is winning. And it's really just all an opportunity and a scam and a con to try to keep Republican voters in Iowa home so that Kamala Harris could maybe possibly have a slim chance of eking out an electoral victory. And that, like Caitlyn Jenner having a baby, just ain't going to happen. Incidentally, if you really want to get accurate information and if you really want to know what's right and what's wrong and who's lying and who's telling the truth, there's a couple of things you need to do. First of all, subscribe to my channel right now. If you watch this whole video and you want more information like this, not just up until Election Day, but well after, we're going to be doing this every single day, not just up until Election Day, but well after. And if you subscribe and if you set the notifications, bam, we will bring you the information you need to know every single day during Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. We go live, we post videos, we post shorts, we do podcasts, we do it all. Also, another really cool thing you can do is join our American Conservative Empowerment Society. I call it ACES for short because ACES, it's a lot shorter to say. The American Conservative Empowerment Society is a great group of individuals, Americans, conservatives, who want to be empowered and inspired and who don't want any of that DEI crap or any of that weird liberal nonsense infecting their lives, who want to get together and talk about important things like the economy, like business, like Christianity and their values, like the American way of life, everything that they feel threatened by, and maybe they need a little insight. It's a coming together of American conservatives in a way you've never experienced before. And if you'd like to join, it's absolutely free to join. Just click the link in the description of this video or go to InsideAces.com. That's InsideAces.com.